Hello, and what is going on, everybody? It is Master of the TDS, and I am joined by my lovely wife,
WritingRaven.
And we're back for another episode of Psycho-Synopsis.
Indeed.
The segment where we summarize all the Psycho for you. Just a scattering of topics throughout the week, all summarized into a neat little package for you to enjoy and consume at your leisure.
You're welcome.
So, we got a couple topics to discuss today. But our first one is going to be a little bit of a, more sad note.
And that is the passing of Lisa Loring, the original Wednesday Addams.
Lisa Loring, who played the young Wednesday Addams on The Addams Family from 1964 to 1966 and also appeared in As the World Turns, died Saturday of a stroke, her daughter Vanessa Fomber confirmed. She was 64.
Rest in peace, Lisa. Thank you for giving an amazing Wednesday Addams. Did you know that the character of Wednesday Addams wasn't named until this show?
Well, I knew that because you told me.
Yeah, just now.
No, you've actually told me many times before.
Oh. Heh.
But for those who don't know, obviously at this point we've been reviewing Wednesday, the show on Netflix, which we'll get back to. So you might have guessed already. But my wife, WritingRaven, is a very big Addams Family fan, and that includes the original show.
Yes, it does.
Now, in interest of full disclosure, I have not seen as much of the original show as my wife has, obviously.
I made you watch the pilot episode with me on my birthday once.
I remember. And it's a shame that she's gone now. She was only 64. And as it says, she died of a stroke. I don't want to go into this too much, but I did want to bring this up because I wanted to hear your opinion on this. Maybe you guys can let us know your opinions in the comments below. There is a thing in Hollywood that is well known that is called being typecasted. And especially with younger kids, they get cast in a certain role or they get cast in a role and it becomes popular, and that's how they're seen from that point forward.
Yeah, isn't that what happened with Biff from Back to the Future?
Yes, and also Macaulay Culkin from Home Alone. You could argue it doesn't stop them from getting in things, but it does limit their options. Do you feel that Lisa Loring was typecast?
Not necessarily. I mean, she was 6 when she played this part and was 5 at the audition.
That's not what I meant. Being typecasted means from this point forward, after this world blew up, she ended up becoming known as Wednesday.
I don't really see the problem with that personally, because it is quite a famous role. Are you saying was she typecast? I don't know, because I don't know if she did any acting afterwards.
From what I researched, she didn't do a lot of acting afterwards, and I do think that might be part of the reason. But regardless, it's a shame that she's gone. I would have liked, as much as I'm not really a fan of the Netflix Wednesday show, I would have liked to have seen her got like a cameo role or something. Yeah,
that would have been amazing. Well, you know what? The only actor from the original show who's alive today is John Astin, who played Gomez. And people have been saying for years that they want him to come back as Grandpa Addams, which would be so awesome.
Well, don't give Netflix ideas.
Well, there's already a rumor that Angelica Houston, who was Morticia in the 90s movies, is going to be cast as the new principal.
And then there's also rumors that Principal Weems will actually still be alive somehow, magically.
Spoilers.
Somehow, Principal Weems has returned.
Now, what bothers me the most about this is, 1, she was gone too young. 2, it's a part of my childhood dead now. 3, Jenna Ortega's response.
Yeah, so we have nothing against Jenna Ortega. We think she does a great job as Wednesday in the show.
She does. She does play a very, very good Wednesday. But it's her complete disregard for the previous Wednesday actresses that gets me so ticked off. Because she didn't say how saddened she was about Lisa Loring's passing until 3 days later.
And maybe there were things going on that we don't know about, and that's always possible.
Yes, but normally you would announce how sad you are the day it happens.
That, and coupled with the fact that she had Christina Ricci on the show with her.
And never interacted with her regarding the character of Wednesday.
Look, as we said, we have nothing against Jenna. She did a good job as the role, but it is kind of annoying to see her not, take a little bit more responsibility for this kind of stuff.
It's seeing her not respect what came before that bothers me. Which, unfortunately, we see a lot in Hollywood these days.
Yeah, but we're not going to get too much into that. It's just a shame that she's gone too young. But her legacy will live on.
Indeed. Farewell, Wednesday. Moving on. Next up, speaking of Netflix, we have Netflix!
Love is sharing a password.
Oh, really now?
After months of warning subscribers that anti-password sharing measures were coming to Netflix, the company appears to be finally set to unleash them.
This is going to backfire.
Now, from what we read, the supposed rules around it is that you have to have your device log into your home network every 31 days or it will block your account.
So how does that work for the people on the separate accounts from the main account? Do we no longer get access? Are our accounts going to get blocked, or is the main account going to get blocked? What about people traveling overseas? What about people who aren't on their main device when that deadline comes around? This is going to end very, very badly.
Well, we actually had a statement from Netflix come out the other day where basically they're saying that, those rules aren't going to apply yet to the U.S.
Right. Press X to doubt.
Netflix had it filled a very good niche for a very long time.
Even if it killed Blockbuster, that's a part of childhood lost as well.
But it's become a thing where it's just basically pumping out content lately, and they have a couple, good hits, and they have a lot of misses.
More misses than hits lately.
Now, we have a lot of other streaming services, so people have started to gravitate away from Netflix, and so Netflix wants money, and so Netflix is trying to get money that way. I think this is going to be a very, very bad thing for them, just like my wife has already said, because the whole point of having a Netflix account was being able to share.
Yeah, because everyone in the family watches different things. You don't want to get confused by what someone else is watching and then not be able to find your watch list or continue watching.
It doesn't even matter. If you even have one account, you can no longer access it because if you're accessing it from a different location, it won't allow you to.
That's stupid.
Again, we don't know the full details. I just think that this will blow up in their face, which it seems to be already doing so. And I'm wondering how quickly they will actually decide to, backtrack on this and because of the backlash.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Part of me thinks that they won't, and part of me thinks that they will, because again, it's part of your marketing was this, and changing it that drastically and making it that complicated is going to just make people less likely to come on your thing versus more likely to.
Yeah.
That's just my 2 cents.
No, I agree. Moving on. And next we have the mangaka of My Hero Academia.
You don't need to go plus ultra for us.
You really don't.
The official My Hero Academia Twitter account announced on February 2nd that the series would be going on hiatus due to the author's poor health.
Mangaka really do work themselves to death, and it's a shame.
And unfortunately, we've actually seen this occur with Berserk.
Yes, which we still need to read.
Regardless, this is the second time that he's now taking time off, and it wasn't so long ago that he took a time off before, and he won't explain what exactly is going on, but as we have here, it shows one of his recent author notes. He says, "My shoulders hurt so much. If it was going to hurt this much, then I wish I never had shoulders."
Meaning he's been sitting at his desk drawing for too long.
I understand that becomes a very popular thing. You want to kind of capitalize on it. You want to get stuff out. But I would prefer him take every couple weeks to get something out versus working himself to death.
I mean, I remember, was it last year that Oda-sama's, the author of One Piece, his work schedule got shared with the public? And he literally only has one day to spend with family, and the rest of the time he has set times for working, and then chores, and then working again. It's like, does the man ever sleep? Do any of these people ever sleep? Do they eat? The Japanese work ethic and discipline is so drilled into them from a young age that these people literally end up working themselves to death. That's why there are some anime with the salespeople working late at night, or in the game industry working all hours of the night, and then, and sometimes they end up dying from overworking. Because it's a real thing in Japan.
Yeah, it is. And again, as I said, I really hope that he, gets time to, relax, because, again, we don't want to see a repeat of Berserk, what happened there. Then they are finishing the series.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather these people take care of themselves and give us a little less versus them working themselves to death and and us, losing them.
True.
God forbid.
Indeed. I think if they were given more reasonable deadlines, it would definitely help with their health.
Now, I hope that he's okay, because, again, he literally just took a break for a week in December.
Yeah.
So...
this doesn't bode well.
I do hope he's okay. I do hope he takes the time to relax and he comes back stronger.
Yes. Because it really would be a shame to lose this one.
But you don't have to go plus ultra. You can just... be you and take your time. I know it might not seem like that's something you can do, and maybe the people who are giving you deadlines need to be talked to.
Maybe.
Because I'm sure that they would agree they'd rather have you around and have less stuff coming out versus having more stuff coming out and have the possibility of you working yourself to death.
Yeah. Moving on. And next up, on a more hilarious note, we have Doctor Who.
Is there something on my face?
Yes.
It's egg on your face.
Which I only figured out last night.
Returning Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies has admitted that he's not a fan of the modern television writers and that their scripts are, quote, rubbish.
Finally, someone in the industry has said it!
As I've mentioned before, I used to be a huge fan of Doctor Who. I'm not a fan of where the show has gone. I'm not a fan of Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor. I didn't think that was a good decision. I thought it could have been done well, but it was not.
They should have kept Peter Capaldi on longer as his contract entailed.
It doesn't matter. The show is in a place where it's literally lost a ton of traction. Now, bringing back Russell T Davies was the right move, but some of the things that he said has made me very uncertain, and then some of the things like this he says makes me very happy.
And hopeful.
But I'm going to be honest, I'm not planning on watching this new Doctor Who.
Yeah, I don't think I am either.
Now, if I get told it's good and that it continues to stay good, maybe I'll give it a watch.
But are they going to get rid of the timeless children?
That's the most important part. I think that a lot of people would come back if they just retcon that one part, but I don't think they're going to. I think they're just going to ignore it.
Yeah, please, retcon the most damaging retcon in the history of television. Please, that'll get us to come back.
It won't ever get everybody back. I think that a lot of people have given up on this, and the BBC has shown their true colors. And the fact that they were saying how, oh no, the show's still doing well editorially. Editorially doesn't mean money, and just because you're getting funded by the British people does not mean that you will continue to do so. That is slowly but surely going away.
Yeah, true.
What will you have to do when you have to advertise, huh?
A good question. But the fact that Russell T Davies has said this, do you want to quote the full thing that he said?
He basically said that a lot of people come into the industry and they're like of this gender or this ethnicity or whatever, and they want to be represented. But because they want to be represented, that's the entire reason they come into the industry. So he's read their scripts and they're rubbish because these people don't actually want or understand or love, television. Instead, they just want to have another platform to talk and kind of, push their stuff. And so their scripts are all rubbish because they don't actually love the medium.
And don't know how to write for it. Which is basically what he said. Finally, saying and admitting what we all already knew!
Yeah. Now, Doctor Who is kind of dead for me. It could change. I will wait and see. But at this point, it's become a thing where I'm not going to expect the best. I'm going to expect the worst. And if you can prove me wrong, I am more than happy to eat my words.
Yeah, that's true.
And I won't even have to have it with fish sticks or custard. Okay?
It was fish fingers and custard, which is pretty much the same thing.
Whatever. It's gotten to the point where I've literally took me a minute to actually remember that.
Yeah, you actually scrunched your face and was like, wait, what was I?
Yeah, that's how sad it's become. I used to rewatch these episodes all the time. I literally could not remember.
Matt Smith throwing the bread and butter out the door and saying, "And stay out," was what sold me on his portrayal of the Doctor. Matt Smith is my favorite.
I like David Tennant, and even him coming back can't bring me back.
Yeah, which is a shame. Shall we move on? And speaking of the representation, we have Ironheart.
I finally know I exist!
There, Timmy.
Zoe Tarak is the first transgender and non-binary actor to join the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Says that they are deeply grateful to have been cast in the upcoming Ironheart series because it will give little trans kids and trans teens something to look at and know they exist.
That makes no sense.
I hate to break this to you. If you don't know that you exist, that's a bigger problem. If you only can find out you exist by watching television, then you have bigger problems.
Seriously. It means you need thorough psychiatric help.
Now, as you can see, I took some creative liberties here. Now, as I said, look, I have no problem with anybody who wants to be what they want to be. The problem is when you market your shows and things on this point, it is not helpful.
It actually does a lot more harm than good.
Correct. It actually makes it more of an issue because you're not just normalizing it, you're putting it out there and making it into something that's now a marketing point. And they do this all the time, and people will eat it up and go, "Oh my god, it's the bestest ever and everybody loves it!" And no one will actually watch it.
Nope.
Because these people don't actually care. As Russell T Davies just said, they don't actually care. They just want to see themselves represented. They don't actually love the medium.
Not knowing you exist? How does that even work?
It doesn't. And again, say what you want about transgender people, whatever. I'm not going to comment on that. All I'm going to say is if you can't, identify or know you exist without watching television, you have a problem.
A major problem that requires a psych ward.
And I'm sorry, but being in a show about a super villain, because that's what she is, a villain.
Uh-huh.
She literally steals Tony's armor and reverse engineers it. Look up the comics. I'm glad you know you exist now. It took you how long? How old are you?
20-something, probably.
Congrats? What do you want me to say?
So yeah, this is just stupid. Let's move on. To more stupid in Star Wars.
It was announced that the Walt Disney Company, Lucasfilm, and Star Wars approved a drag panel titled Star Wars is a Drag, Exploring Star Wars Through the Art of Drag for the upcoming Star Wars Celebration 2023 that is being held in London.
Drag is an art?
Drag is in Star Wars?
Huh?
This whole piece is stupid. I don't care if you're someone who likes drag, okay? Take your own hobbies and take them elsewhere. This has become a ridiculous thing where people these days need to insert their hobbies and their beliefs and their values into other people's stuff. You don't. Make your own or go away.
Seriously, please. It'll be better for everyone if you keep it to yourself.
Nobody cares if you want to find drag in Star Wars. What we care about is that why in the world is this allowed? And then these people do this and people get upset, and then all they do is block and get whatever. Oh, so Star Wars is for everyone, except if you have the wrong opinion that we don't agree with, and then it's not for you, but it's for everybody. No, it's not.
How inclusive of you.
How about instead, maybe you ask the majority of people whether or not they'd want to see this in Star Wars, whether they'd want to see this at Star Wars Celebration. I guarantee the majority of people would not be interested because of the stigmas around drag and because of the fact that literally this is not even something that applies to Star Wars. This just bothers me because they've made it into a thing where they now have to insert this into every single thing that they do and every single thing that they made because they need to be represented. And it's, again, the same thing. You just want to be represented. You don't actually like the product and you don't actually want to be part of the actual experience. You just want a way to insert your garbage into other people's stuff. And it's not something that is necessary.
Or sustainable.
And you continue to do it because you know if you tried to make your own stuff, no one would like it. That's because of a reason. Perhaps instead of getting mad that people don't like your original stuff and having to forcibly inject it into other things which people don't like either, maybe you should take a step back and ask yourself, why do people not like this? Maybe there's something that I need to change. Maybe there's something I need to reflect on. Nah, it's everybody else. They're all bigots.
Rinse, repeat.
Enjoy your drag performance. Barely anybody's going to watch this. It'll be a footnote, if anything. And it's sad because it literally shows the state of Star Wars, and it explains to everybody why Star Wars is on the decline, which it is. The numbers for Andor don't lie. Maybe instead of spending time approving drag panels, you should take some time and ask yourself why Star Wars is on the decline, and maybe, just maybe, you'll come to some conclusion. Let other properties exist without having to have your stuff forced into it. That's all I ask.
Let's move on. And finally, we have Eliza Blue again.
Look at me. I run Twitter now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Eliza Blue is taking things to the next level by protecting her Twitter account and going after anyone who has made videos on her through her abuse of the YouTube privacy policy.
Really now?
This has been an ongoing story that we did cover already. We're covering it again because it's gone to a point where we can't ignore it. Not that we have, but we can't ignore it. This person has power over in Twitter and has gotten multiple people's accounts logged. But now she immediately sends out all these different privacy complaints, and this morning made her account public again. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's been hemorrhaging followers since all this went down. And if you want a rundown of what's been going on, you should watch our last video that will explain a little bit more. But long story short, this person has had her past come into question, and instead of addressing it and instead of, moving on, she made it into a big thing and started banning people and getting whatever, so people are starting to see her for what she really is. And the biggest problem with that is that people at Twitter are allowing this behavior, are listening to her, and it's the same thing with YouTube. The stuff that they're tagging is not at all things that she should be able to privacy, strike. And the fact is, the video that she's upset about was up on YouTube for 6 years, public.
And the account that posted it owns the full rights to said video.
Yes. So it's become ridiculous at this point. I really do hope that she does try to go after these people, because there's a community behind a lot of these creators. And I'm not just saying the community will supply stuff, but I'm saying that when there's a community and there's a bunch of creators that you're targeting, you have made a mistake. You want to target 1 or 2 creators? Fine. You're targeting a bunch. They all have fans. Fans overlap in certain communities. You really think you're going to take them down into court and you're going to win? First off, you have no case. And second off, any kind of financial things that you think you might have over them, they now have a community backing them. You're screwed.
Yeah, but whatever dirt she has on these people, how much longer can this last?
It's okay, she'll just get Daddy to go help.
Oh yeah, Daddy the politician.
Yeah, the politician, the ex-politician, who's basically telling people, please take down the articles and we'll have an off-topic discussion. Maybe you guys are sick of hearing of Eliza Blue, and trust me, I'm sick of talking about her. I think we can all agree.
Yes.
But if you don't look at this and say, wow, something's fundamentally wrong here, then I don't know what to tell you.
Pretty much.
Continue to call this out. Share this. Do not let her get away with this, because this is setting a precedent for people going forward, and it should not be allowed. I don't care what she's done. I don't care what she's doing now. It doesn't matter. She may have done some great things, and maybe there's things in her past that we don't know about still that have yet to come to light that might actually prove her story.
Maybe.
But her behavior is not indicative of being a good person. And so she needs to be called out. She needs to be, addressed. And if people continue to turn a blind eye to it, it will mean that this will be something that can happen again in the future. Who knows how many people have more power than she does?
That's not a comforting thought.
If you think about it, this person with the power she has is able to get all this done. Imagine somebody who has more power with her, who gets on the wrong side of things. Imagine what they can do.
That sounds worse than the Illuminati.
It's a scary thought, and it should not be something that we're even considering. So do your part. Even if you hate it, I get it. Do your part. Don't let her get away with this.
Seriously.
And Eliza, come after us. I dare you. I dare you. Come after us and strike this video. Because you'll just be proving your hypocrisy, and you'll be proving the fact that it doesn't even matter what we post. Because this is all fair use, by the way. I know. So if you come after us for this, you will lose.
Ooh, you've incurred Master's wrath!
Yeah, you have. I'm tired of hearing about you. I don't care about what you've done for survivors or trafficking or whatever. I don't care about your past. You are being a terrible person. You are literally going after people who are just reporting on stuff, and you're screaming and crying like a little petulant child who just had their rattle taken away. Guess what? We don't care that you have a dirty diaper. We don't care. What we care is that you're stinking up the place and you need to leave.
No one survives my darling's wrath. Moving on. And with that being our last client of the day, it's time for us to reveal the diagnosis of the week.
And this week we have a diagnosis that we've had before, but I think it works very well for this week.
Do tell.
So the diagnosis for this week is borderline personality disorder.
Please explain.
So borderline personality disorder involves people with like mood swings, uncertainty about how they see themselves, their feelings change very quickly, and it affects people and relationships around them. One of the things that I thought was most prudent here is quick changes in self-image, including viewing of oneself as bad or as if they don't exist. Intense anger, extreme fear of abandonment, bouts of paranoia, inappropriate anger, all this kind of stuff is things that we see in Hollywood, especially in the smaller, more minority communities. This is exactly what we see. They are so afraid of not seeing themselves reflected back at themselves, so they need to insert it and force it into every little thing. And that's ridiculous. You don't need to do that. You can be yourself. You can be who you want to be, but you don't have to force down people's throat. And just because you have insecurity or paranoia around your self-image doesn't mean that you have to project that onto those around you. You can just accept that you are the problem and deal with it on your own terms, preferably in therapy. Don't try to force it on other people because they don't take it well. And that's why I feel this is a great diagnosis for this week.
I agree.
And now we move on to the remedy of the week.
And this week we are sending you to our friend Jay Ascent through this account of his, Jayworks Productions, and his new Wattpad account, The Hallow series, where he has started posting chapters of his book, Out of the Hallow. I recommend giving it a read. He's a really great guy. A pretty good artist as well. We actually might
work with him in the future.
Indeed.
So stay tuned for that. But Jay, just a disclaimer. I apologize if I didn't get the right YouTube channel. I know there's a couple of them that you made. I figured promoting your most, your one specific one would be good. And I know you haven't put content up there in a while, but I hope that you are encouraged. But you should go check out his Wattpad. He is a great guy. Been a big supporter of the channel for quite some time. Never a bad thing to say about him and his wife. They're a great team. They're great people, and you really should go check them out if you have not already, because you will not be disappointed.
So, grab your Kindles, head on over there, and let him know that Gothic Therapy referred you.
Indeed. But that is all we have for this week. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and also make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe with notifications on so you do not miss your weekly therapy session.
Or you will be charged. But remember, when you do subscribe, your first session is free, so smash those buttons like they're bad kitties. And do consider joining us at the dusk, midnight, or dawn level. We would appreciate it quite a lot. You can also find links to all of our socials in the description below, as well as links to our merch store and our Discord server known as The Clinic. Be sure to check them out.
Some people have also figured out that we are actually on Odyssey and Rumble. We don't check things on there as frequently as perhaps we should, but if you'd like to, you can also check us out there. We are on, as I said, Rumble and Odyssey, so if you are not a fan of YouTube, there are other options.
Yes, there are.
But that's all we have for this week, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Gothic Therapy, out.